Today's lesson is 3-4 Reteaching. The learning goal for this lesson is to use exponents to show repeated multiplication of the same number. We're going to talk about exponential notation first. It's important to remember that there are two parts to exponential notation, the base and the exponent. So we're going to start by talking about the base. The base in exponential form is the number or the factor being multiplied. So in the example 8 squared, or 8 to the second power, 8 is the number being multiplied repeatedly. 8 is our base in this case. So the second part of our exponential notation is the exponent. So using that same example that we used before, 8 squared, the 2 in this case is our exponent. The 2 tells us how many times 8 is being multiplied. The next thing we're going to talk about is expanded and standard form or notation. These are just two other ways that we can represent numbers written in exponential form. In expanded notation, this is where you write out the factors using standard algorithm. So let's look at, let's do 2 to the 4th. In expanded form, this would be represented as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I know that the base is my number that I'm going to multiply repeatedly, and of course my exponent up here tells me how many times. So take a look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 times that I multiply 2 together because my exponent told me that. Okay, so this right here, this long multiplication problem that I have written out is expanded form. Notice how it's a lot bigger. You could think of it as expanded because it's a lot bigger than just this exponential form. The next form we're going to talk about is standard form. Now standard form is just when you find the product of the multiplication problem, so the product of expanded form. So let's take the same example, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times. Okay. And we're going to find the product of this multiplication problem. I like to group these together because they make it a little bit easier. So I know 2 times 2 is 4, and then I'm going to multiply that by the product of 2 times 2 again, which is also 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. So my standard form for 2 to the 4th is going to be 16. Here I have a couple of problems that I've noticed students having when they're using exponential notation, and I just want to address these issues to make sure they aren't misconceptions that you have. The first misconception I have here is that you do not multiply the base by the exponent to find standard form. This is also true when trying to find expanded form. So in the example 3 to the 4th power, I've seen a lot of students say, oh, well, this is equal to 3 times 4, which equals 12. So the value of 3 to the 4th equals 12. When in reality, 3 to the 4th is showing that I need to multiply the factor 3 together 4 times. Notice already, oh, sorry, not 4, 3. Notice already that my value of 3 to the 4th is going to be a lot larger than 12. So let's group this together and find the actual value of 3 to the 4th. So I know 3 times 3 is 9, and then I'm going to multiply that by the product of 3 times 3 again. So when I multiply 9 times 9, I get 81. Look at the difference between the product of 3 times 4 and the product of 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. The value of these two numbers is much, much different. So we know that 3 to the 4th is not equal to 3 times 4. If you're not going to get the same number, they do not have the same value. The next misconception that I've included here is that exponents do not represent repeated addition. Back when you were learning multiplication in the very beginning, you were probably taught that multiplication is just another way of showing repeated addition. You just add this number together, in this case 2. You add it together 4 times. So we have 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Okay? Lots of people I've seen do the same kind of thing here. They know that it's repeated, but they get it confused with repeated addition, which is actually what multiplication shows. So they think that 2 to the 4th is the same as multiplying 2 times 4, which also equals 8 here. But actually, we know that 2 to the 4th needs to show repeated multiplication. And multiplying 2 together 4 times is going to be a much different number than if we were to just add it together. So let's group it like we did above. 2 times 2 equals 4, and then we're going to multiply that by 2 times 2 again. And we're going to get 16 here. Notice that the value of 8 is different than the value of 16. So repeated addition and repeated multiplication are going to get you different answers. When dealing with exponents, you should never be adding anything together. Exponents is showing repeated multiplication, so addition has no place when dealing with exponents. So 2 to the 4th power is not equal to 2 added together 4 times. 2 to the 4th power needs to be 2 multiplied together 4 times. All right, let's do a little practice now. The problem tells me to write 5 cubed in exponential, expanded, and standard form. The first thing I need to figure out or remember here is what cubed means, what my exponent is going to be when I see the word cubed. There are only 2 exponents that have special names, and cubed is one of them, squared is the other. So whenever I see cubed, I know that that's going to raise it to the 3rd power. So here's my exponential form right here, 5 to the 3rd power, or 5 cubed. Now to write this out in expanded form, I need to use my base, which is 5, and multiply it together this many times, so 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and write that, and you should be writing this too in your math notebook. So I have 5 times 5 times 5. There's my expanded form. So far I've got 2 of my forms down, and the last one I need to figure out is my standard form, which is the answer to this multiplication problem. So I'm going to go ahead and group this number together like I like to do, and I know that 5 times 5 is 25. Now I still need to bring this 5 down and multiply 25 by 5. Well, let's use the trick that we could probably figure this out pretty easily. 25 cents is equal to 1 quarter, right? And we know that we have 4 quarters and $1. So 25 cents 4 times is going to get us 100. And we have 5 times, so we need to do 100 plus 25. So we get 125. You could also, though, just write out 25 times 5 to solve this, and this using the standard algorithm, and you'll see that you'll get the same answer here. So I have my exponential form up here. I have my expanded form right here. And my standard form for this problem is 125. It's very important that you remember what each of these terms mean. What does it mean when I ask for expanded form? What does it mean when I ask for exponential form? And what does it mean when I ask for standard form? These are very, very important terms to be familiar with when using exponents.